The moon in astrology represents our emotional world, your sensitivity, your instincts, how you process your emotions, your feelings, what makes you feel safe. This is the moon. The moon is like your home, right? And the moon can also represent your physical home too. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the moon series, starting with the baby moon, the baby zodiac sign, Aries, of course. And before we get into it, let's just discuss like the moon sign, how important it is, the things it represents. And the moon can represent your subconscious patterns, right? The things that you do without even thinking. The moon will hold your emotional needs, your emotional space, right? Um, when the moon is activated, when we're talking about the moon signs, the moon will also represent your caregivers. The moon will represent your home life. Your childhood can also be held within the moon sign because the moon is what we need for our nurture, what we safe space language, right? It's tied into our nurturing language, our care language, how we give and receive care, love and nurture, how we were given nurture as children from our caregivers, from our parents. It can represent a parent as well. This is the moon sign, right? And so the moon in Aries, okay, the moon will take on the form of the fire moon, of course, because Aries is fire, right? Ruled by Mars. And so this moon will have the flavor of fire, of passion, of instinctive behavior, primal needs, act first, think later kind of energy. The Aries moon, ruled by Mars, likes to get things done. It doesn't hesitate. It will dive in deep, take the leap, wants to be first, throws caution to the wind, isn't one to necessarily assess the dangers of what they're going to be about to be doing. They do have incredible drive, right? The Aries Moon has incredible drive, incredible passion, impulsive, right? Like I said, they will act before they think, which will be very impulsive, which is neither good or bad. I think that impulsiveness has its place. If you want something really intense and quick, then Aries Moon is your go-to. You know, they're courageous, they're valiant, they have an intense drive to get things done. You know, because they have that Mars flavor to the Moon because they're all by Mars. And Mars is all about action. It can be combative. It will speak before it thinks. It will say what it wants. Um, Not that it doesn't care about your feelings. It's like with Aries moon, it's not something that they necessarily will think about. They'll just want to blurt out whatever, right? Um, the moon in Aries people do generally need a lot of stimulation through movement, being outside, allowing them to have freedom. You know, the Aries moons, a bit like Aquarius moon and Sagittarius moon, but slightly different. Is that they need their independence, right? That's not to say that Aries Moon cannot commit or settle. They are very passionate, very committed, and have their person. They are like all in, you know. Aries Moon are extremely passionate lovers, and they respond to life with that passion too. They're very intense with that, very intense and immediate and fast with that passion and intimacy. Okay. Um, they do need to feel that excitement in the relationships, in their friendships, in their day-to-day life because they can become bored quite quickly, right? They need to feel emotionally like they're alive, they're doing something, they have purpose, and they like to be the first at something, doing new things. They can be quite competitive, you know, they make great competitors actually. And they need something where they can burn this drive and energy. So sports is always, I think, sports, physical activity, anything they're moving around, um, and getting there, getting heated because it is a fire moon, right? Is really great for the emotional well-being. All right, the Aries moon people can tend to rise very quickly to their emotions. Right? They feel things really quickly and really intensely, but they can dissipate just as quick and intense. And so Aries Moon can literally be enraged instantaneously and get really mad. I'm very vocal about it. You know, I always think Aries Moon, they are very forthcoming about, depending on what house it falls in, other things as well, right? Very forthcoming with expressing how they feel, whether they want to or not, right? It will just come out of them. Okay, and they can be quick to apologise too. You know, if they're in the wrong, because they'll just say whatever, bless you out, get mad, feel the feelings, and then move on. Like, oh, I said, well, it's that's done now. I don't find Aries Moon people to, depending on the placements in the charts, to hold on to grudges and feelings and emotions. They will just like rise, express, move on. All right. They're not dwellers. Aries Moon don't dwell. They just go forward. You know, they're very instinctive. They act on their instincts and they move forward. They don't dwell on feelings for too long, or they don't think about things for too long. Sometimes to their detriment, but they don't think enough. And so, yeah, the core traits with the Aries Moon is that they are. I find them, because this is a fire energy, to be extremely protective of loved ones, of their family. As far as moon signs go, I'd say that the Aries moon are quite direct, right? Along with Sagittarius moons, very direct with how they approach, how they speak, how they emote, right? I always say if you don't want to get your feelings hurt, don't ask an Aries or Sagittarius moon for their honest opinion, all right? Because they're going to tell you anyway, all right? But their emotional nature does need independence, so they don't think for themselves. They don't want to be caged in. If you want to hold on to, if you want to hold on to your Aries moon, then allow them to have their freedom. You know, and they won't stay. I think the Aries moon don't stay like they don't stay mad at for too long. They just move on, right? Um, I love that they're so courageous and direct, and I think that one of the key things is that they're strong impulse to act quick, right? This is not like a bad or a good or bad, good or bad. That it's just how they will respond to life around them. It's like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. You know, we're gonna do this. It's like almost like you know the fool card in tarot, where they just take the leap. This is Aries Moon all the time. Okay, let's just do the thing. Like throw caution to the wind, whatever. Just do it, right? 'Cause they want to experience and feel everything first. Okay. So let's go through the moon in the houses. And so if you have your moon in Aries in the first house, your emotions are very strong, very present. I always find with moon in the first house, people that you guys will wear your expression on your face. It's like even if you don't want to say how you're feeling, your face will just give it away. All right, because this is Aries moon. Not only will your face give it away, you'll probably say the thing as well. Right, you're very visible, very expressive. Right, um, you guys will lead with instinct, lead with courage, be very bold, very passionate. You really identify with your feelings and emotions, you know, very fiery, very passionate. I find with Moon in the first house people that, you know, the mother figure can be very, mother figure or nurturing figure is very prevalent in your life. You know, home and security is very important actually. And going back to, this is for everybody, um, Aries Moon, um, where because the moon was the mother or the caregiver, the primary nurturing caregiver, I'd find that with the Aries moon, the mother nurturing caregiver would be very protective, very fiery, maybe a bit unstable with their emotions. Home might home may have been like very unstable and explosive, very passionate. That can be one of the things with Aries Moon because it can be quite volatile. So sometimes it can be, depending on other things in the child, the home life is very volatile and unstable because the Moon in Aries is such a way, you know. And one of the key things with Moon in Aries is that they're craving stability through that subconsciously because the mother wound was very insecure, very unstable. Sometimes it can be with the Moon in Aries with a mother figure as well that you have to kind of almost parent the parent. You know what I mean? Because they're very because remember that, like I said in the intro, the Aries is the baby moon, and so it can be that you have to literally parent your nurture and parent your parent. Okay. Moon, Aries moon in the second house, right? Your security comes through finance and independence, and you value structure because this is the house of Taurus, right? So you value structure, you value material wealth, you value prosperity, you value safety and security, all right? And your drive and ambition will be pursued through those obtaining those things, obtaining wealth, obtaining stability, going after what you want, and it can be quite entrepreneurial as well. So there is that. There's a real strong desire to build resources, to really excel through your career, through your work, through your material belongings. Your drive will be very much so in that. Aries Moon in the second house as well. I always find they make like really great kind of like chefs because the second house is like food, right? And kind of really beautiful voices too. Sometimes Aries Moon second house can be that the family comes from wealth and prosperity too, depending on which house. Depending on other aspects too. Okay, but money can be really important, and self worth and self value are the key here with the Aries Moon, right? If you have a Moon in Aries in the third house, then your mind and your emotions and communication are all tied in together because the third house rules communication. And the moon being here is that you're very expressive with your emotions, can make great writers, journalists, authors, podcasters, YouTubers, that sort of thing, right? Um, there can be a huge tie to your community as a third house, right? So it could be like you Moon and third house people have a real strong affinity to where they grew up, their childhood area, their siblings as well. Can be like strong sibling connection here too, or friends that feel like family as well. Um, The third house moon, Aries people need a lot of stimulation because this is the mind. And like I mentioned in the intro, the Aries needs a lot of stimulation anyway, and so the mind needs stimulation too. Okay. I feel like moon in the third house people tend to move around a lot as well. Because the moon changes signs all the time, and the third house rules where your local environment, so you may move around quite a lot too. Moon in the fourth house. Uh, the fourth house moon, the moon loves to be in the fourth house first and foremost because it naturally rules the first house, the fourth house, sorry. All right. So, really strong placement for the moon. All right. Can make you very protective of your family. First of all, Aries are very protective anyway. And the fourth house rules family and home. Very protective of your family, very protective of your home. You can be they can be like overly nurturing, very caring, especially in the fourth house moon, having that moon here kind of quite protective, overbearing, almost to a point. Mothers, caregivers, right? Um, you can make you look strongly independent from your family as well. And strong because this is the family had the house which rules family, the kind of a lot of very strong personalities within that family dynamic where emotions are awry and they can be a bit combative. Emotions are on a high because this is the fourth house of home, so there can be a very kind of like fiery, disruptive energy to the home environment, even if the love is really there. Sometimes it can come across in different, like not very helpful ways, where it can make you overbearing, overprotective when it comes to your caregivers. Moon in the fifth house, you guys love to have fun. The fifth house moon people, they know how to have a good time, especially in Aries. Very passionate, super creative, extremely expressive. This is the house of expression, right? So you guys love to express, great dancers, performers, artists, entrepreneurs, painters, anything that you can express yourself. Really great for your moon healing, right? Can make for a very exciting love life. This is the house of love and romance, of course. So love and romance for you guys can play a really big part. Like I said in the intro, I feel like with the Aries moon, especially anyone with a moon in the fifth house, whichever sign it is in, it can sometimes mean that you have to parent your parent because they're like a child to you. This is the house of the children after all, right? And so moon in the fifth house, people, children can be a real strong narrative in your karmic destiny. All right. Moon in the sixth house, people. Your emotional productivity is expressed through how you work, how you give care to other people, how you nurture, how you can be of service. When you are being of service to other people, that is when you feel emotionally fulfilled. Okay. Um, Moon in the sixth house people need routine. Right, this is the house of routine. Great for physical fitness, great for health and health and diet. Um, can be quite fast. They can do better in a fast-paced environments. They come out from great vets as well as the house of pets after all, right? You could have a really spiritual connection to pets. For you guys, I feel like your emotions can be regulated through regular exercise, through diet, through actively seeking out things where you can be physically active will help you and your emotional needs to recalibrate. Yeah. Um, Moon in the seventh house, you guys will have a strong connection to relationships, right? This is the house of relations after all. And so, relationships with the moon in the seventh, you guys crave harmony and balance and peace and love and romance, first and foremost. Even if you go about it in a very combative, fiery, domineering kind of way, I feel like moon in the seventh house people, especially in Aries, they really go after what they want when it comes to love and romance. Like, I think you're not shy in coming forward about telling people that you like them. You know what I mean? How can I say that better? Um, you will express your interest to your lovers. Yeah. Um, I think that with Moon in the seventh house, you can be really drawn to like passionate love affairs, people who are really fiery, people who are really passionate, fiery, kind of almost like alpha kind of lovers, male or female, right? Doesn't matter. Um, I do find that you will experience intense emotions through your relationships, having that moon in the seventh house. All right. Um, Moon in the eighth house is a really deep, kind of like intense moon because the eighth house is the house of transformation. It's the house naturally ruled by Scorpio. So having the moon here can have their native be very, very deeply embroiled in a huge transformation through their lifetime. They'll go through loads of like transformational periods, where the themes of like intimacy, sex, death, rebirth, inheritance, money, intimacy are very, very intertwined with your emotional well-being. You know, this is the house of psychology, of spiritual exploration. Makes Moon in the eighth house people are really great for like spirituality, mediums, clairvoyancy, tarot, investigators. That's the word I'm looking for, right? You can be very drawn to like the taboo, like because this is has a Scorpio, so you guys will naturally be drawn to like murder mysteries and like who did it and crime scene investigation type stuff. You know what I mean? And like astrology and the occult. You're very much open to that. I love the eighth house. Um, Moon in the ninth house gives you a very kind of international flavor where you'll be very much drawn to like different cultures, travel, finding out the truth. You guys love your freedom. You want to explore. You deep into your philosophy. You're very opinionated. You'll find energy in new ideas, new cultures, meeting new people, different backgrounds, experiences. Great for higher education, great for lecturing, great for the law. You know, if you want to get into like uh, being like a judge or being like a lawyer or anything to do with like a university professor, that sort of thing, where you can like teach others and guide others through therapy or coaching. Fantastic for that, right? Moon in the 10th house people have a strong need to be recognized for their ambitions and their goals when it comes to work and career. They're very driven towards their achievements, right? Wanting to be seen, highly motivated when it comes to work and career. You know, family can be really important to you because this is the house of the father as well. You know, you can naturally fall into leadership roles in your relationships and in work and career too. Okay, and in work and career can make great hoteliers, people who work in like the entertainment industry, hospitality, bars, etc. Um, Again, it's a bit like the first house where you guys will really wear your emotions on your sleeve, and you could be really known for creating your own community and nurturing them as well. You know, people will naturally feel like an affinity to you, and they'll have empathy towards what you have to say and do, and feel like you feel like home to them through the work that you do. You know, Moon in the 11th house. You guys, when I say the moon in the 11th house, you guys, I always say to people, you guys should start your own retreat, like a women's retreat or something, where people can come to your group and you'll do like a spiritual healing, right? This is the moon in the 11th house. But you guys are really energized by social movement. Yeah, you're energized by the group that you're part of, your friendship circles. You guys are hyper focused on achieving your biggest goals, dreams, and desires. Okay. You guys take the natural lead when it comes to your groups, and people just flock to you for when you're in the group chat, someone does all the organising. The moon 11th house people are great for that. Yeah, and you will nurture the group too. You can be like the mother of the group. And this can really make you. This is almost a bit like suffragette energy, or like someone who likes to fight for the underdog and be really passionate about causes for the community, and doing the charity work, doing the protesting, fighting for people's rights. I love the Moon 11th house, I really do. It gives that Aquarian flavour. Finally, Moon in the 12th house. Moon in the 12th house, again, one of the most spiritual houses, right? Moon in the 12th house people are connected to the other dimension, higher realms, spiritually sensitive. You guys do need to have boundaries when it comes to the time spent with other people because you're natural absorbers of energy. So you guys need some time of solitude so you can process your own emotions and clear your own energy, right? Um, I think for you guys, like channeling your fire energy through spiritual practice is a great way to recharge and reset. Do like candle magic, incense, um, heated sauna type thing. Anything you can do that encourages like heat to relax, infrared sauna, that sort of thing. Be really, really amazing. 12 house moon people carry a lot of karmic stories from the past, and we'll have lots of karmic links moving forward in this lifetime too. Moon in the 12th house people will either go on a spiritual journey, or they can have strong ties to distant lands that will bring them or take them, shall I say, away from their place of birth. All right, guys, I'd love to know how the moon in Aries plays out for you, what house it's in. If you have moon in Aries people in your life, let me know in the comments, and I will catch you on the next video.